So, I mean, someone is saying the major challenge with food sustainability is the climate change, especially in Nigeria, because of 80% of the farmers are not educated to understand this factor and how they can tackle the problem. I don't know if you have any comment with that on that. Probably I'll go to you, Sky. I think if James was here, he could have been able to add more to that comment because of the wider projects that he's been engaged in. But I don't know if you have anything to say on that, Sky.
I think the main thing with education is that it can come in many different forms, and it's important to find a form that works for the community of people that you're talking about. So it doesn't have to be digital.
Yeah.
As you say, I can't add too much on that, but I just think it's important to take thought of every type of communication.
Yeah, great point. I don't know if you have any comment to add to that, Anna.
Then, I mean, I believe that there are many solutions to tackle the environmental degradation, many adaptation mechanisms that farmer can use to prevent these losses. For example, we have like this fertilizer or like natural fertilizer that you can use. For example, as I mentioned before, the biogas, that one of the byproduct is this fertilizer that improves the soil. So you can use this mechanism as well to tackle this, for example, what the farmer are facing, droughts and so on.
Yeah, very good point, Anna. Bronson, you're welcome to the stage now. And so are we just talking about, one of the key questions that was asked, or the first question that was asked, was on how do you communicate to farmers about climate change issues and how that is impacting them. So I don't know if you have any comments to share with that. So how do you, because I think the question goes like this: farmers are facing a lot of climate change issues. How do you educate them about this climate change issue so that they can mitigate them? I think that's what the question is about.
Yeah. So what we do is before even, as I said, we at the Source Plus actually engage community at the core solution provider. So, and during that stage where we're developing the product, we engage with them. We sit down, discuss what are the challenges they're facing, and how they want the solution to be solved. And apart from that, now also I know we are having changes in the environment out throughout, especially in the last few years, it's been amplified. So what we do actually, part of the system we have is we have digital monitoring where we're able to provide real-time digital training services to the community. At any particular time, they will require that, and also information whereby we have proactive climate risk management. They receive timely information through SMS if they don't really have, if they're offline, and also through GSMS also to enable them get this information on timely. And I think that's the key thing actually in how we're able to educate them and also help them manage the climate risks that we're facing currently today.
Great point. Thank you so much, Bronson, for that insight, and also Sky and Anna for your contribution to that question. I think there's another question here. The question goes: there are situations where the core producers are financially handicapped in marketing their locally produced items. How will this program serve as a channel to close the gap? I think this question is directed to IntelliDigest because of the Global Agri-Food Techpreneur Program. Well, I'll make it open to the speakers. If you have anything you want to contribute to it, how do you close the gap for producers to get their produce to the market? So who want to go first?
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I was taking people through our product, one of the key things we have is the market leakages, whereby quality assurance or quality of the product is always a key challenge in every market. Different market have their own different ISO or sanitary and phytosanitary standards, and we come and bridge that whereby we're not just giving you a solution, but also through the traceability when your product is ready. In this case, we're talking about honey or other agroforestry product. We come on board and buy from you. But initially, when you are try to onboard you in our program, we discuss on the agreement of the payment because we have a cap in which this is the minimum we can always pay you, but you can always go up. And it's established through smart contracts. So eventually now, for the safety of the farmers and also our safety and also inclusion, whereby we also try and focus on the other financial digital payments that is on FarmGate, because sometimes we realize there's a problem whereby uh, wholesalers, or for the lack of better term, brokers, they would go on market in Africa is a problem. And they pick produce and they expect the farmers to wait for 3 months until they sell their produce so that they can get paid. Sometimes also this delay, because a farmer needs that money to continue maybe farming and also feeding the family. And we realize it's a major challenge. So we come on board and also do on-farm or farm gets payments. And mostly, once the product is way on the ground, the problem becomes ours, how we store it, in case there's any spoilage and all that. But it's also testing, which also determines the price of your commodity. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Bronson. And I guess the person that asked that question is taking a lot of insight from what you shared. I think it's really important to be able to have good quality produce, and the off-takers having a measurable way to ensure that that quality is maintained, especially when it comes to delivering to the end users high quality nutritious food. So I'll just say quickly that in terms of the program, the Global Agri-Food Techpreneur Program, we provide access to the World Food Tracker platform, a platform that helps people to plan their meals and using that information to support local producers and getting the produce to the market, thereby reducing the supply chain challenges, but more importantly, ensuring that people are meeting their nutritional requirements. And also helping farmers to understand how they can, deploy technology solutions to solve most of the problems that they have, while also provide them insight in terms of climate change issues. So that is what we try to achieve with the World Food Tracker platform. We're going to put the link in the chat, so if you've not engaged with it, we encourage you to engage with it and be able to explore that. I know there's not your remit, Anna, so I'll just go to Skye and see if Skye wants to say something, but you can say no, we can move on to the next thing if you don't have any.
Yeah, questions. I don't think so.
Fantastic. I think Bronson did a good job on the question. So, okay. I think the next question is talking about fruit production and how we can maximizing value from fruit production. So I don't know if anybody wants to come in here and respond to that. I think this is mostly I would say probably the speakers don't have expertise in this area because this is fruit production, and I know there are some people who are experts in having orchards for food production, and really how you could maximize the or deploy the use of technology to improve harvest, and also having this precision agriculture where you're able to lay out the farm in a way that you can maximize production and harvest in a more efficient way using technology solutions. So those are things that they're very important to consider from the onset of your orchard farm, to see how you can use precision agriculture, how you can use a lot of automation in the process, and also how you can map out demand and supply in such a way that you have less of the waste. And I think one of the key things I did talk about in my presentation is about supply chain management, and rather than designing long shelf life products for use of new produce, rather we'll be looking at how do we use surplus produce for long shelf life products, but more prioritizing local food production in terms of supplying fresh produce to the market. So that would be my feedback on that for anyone who did. I think Benjamin, you asked that question. I hope that provided you answer. So for me, the key takeaway is about automation, precision agriculture, planning your orchard in such a way that you think ahead of your harvest, you think ahead of your market, and you can deploy the necessary technology to help you achieve greater produce, as well as also reduce waste and also meet your market requirement. Okay, I think we'll move to the next question. The question is from Bios Company Limited. In situation where agri-tech experts have groundbreaking on food sustainable innovation, but lack the financial backup to build and take it to market due to mentioned challenges, how can this problem be solved? I think I don't know if any of the speakers are having the background to answer the question, but I will say to you why they're thinking about the question. I'm sure they will have some contributions to make. Also, we do have a webinar called Financing a Sustainable Food System webinar, which we usually hold on December 5th, where we engage with regional development banks and other financial experts within the food sector. So this will be a very good webinar to ask questions on finances, because there are a number of sustainable finances being developed by regional development banks and also some other commercial banks in collaboration to support stakeholders across the food system so that we could deliver more for the food system. So with that said, I still want to throw it to the speakers if anybody wants to make any comment on that. Okay, great. I think probably I've answered the question, and please join us for the webinar on financing a sustainable food system. I can go into more details on that. So I think I'll just try to find the next question in the chat. Some very interesting comments. Feel free to go through that later, but let me just see if there's any other further question. Okay, with the high cost of food price globally, how can we boost the production of local food crops that will be safe, nutritious, and sustainable for easy access and affordable to customers? Does anybody want to go first? With the high cost of food price globally, how can we boost the production of local food crops that will be safe, nutritious, and sustainable for easy access and affordable to customers? Skye, do you want to go first?
I feel like I don't want to talk too much about the food aspect of it because our focus really is on connecting the scientists and the farmers. So I really want to speak out of turn.
Okay, that's fine. Bronson, do you want to contribute to that?
I'll let Anna go.
I think what can I contribute, for example, if like to give the farmer this possibility where they can sell their products. For example, I know that many problems that they are faced in when they the production process. For example, there are a lot of food losses because when they have to sell in the supermarket with the final retailer, some of the products have the wrong shape and they are not acceptable for the customer. So, for example, there is this nice initiative in France where they are selling this, for example, the rounded shape or carrot. They have this in the supermarket where they sell this, and then the farmer can generate some income. So the supermarket don't reject that. So I think it's a good initiative to emulate in other countries. They can help farmers to cope with this, to generate income as well. Or to, for example, to use this sustainable practices, like, for example, agroforestry systems where they have many byproducts when they can use trees like fruit trees, where they can have this diverse range of product and they can sell it. They just don't focus in one.
Great point. I think looking into aesthetics of food and implication for food loss and waste is something that needs to be dealt with. And I think it's just helping customers and households to understand the value in terms of nutritional value of the food produce, which will also help them to effectively engage with the food rather than choosing just those ones who are more aesthetically appealing. And with that, I'll say thank you, Anna, for that contribution. I've got a question that's more specific to your presentation here. It says, can impurities be removed totally in biogas production for sustainable energy in the production of food system? I don't know if you have any response for that.
I don't understand the question correct. I mean, if it impurities regarding the stage, the last stage of the process, like.
Yes, I think they're talking about, for sustainable energy in the production of food systems. So I think usually you have a lot of impurities in the biogas, and you have to pass it through some cleaning to remove those impurities before you can then gasify it. So probably that's the question, and also the question could also relate to the application of the broth from the process on an application of that in the farm. What is the implication in terms of impurities? We talk a lot about microplastics and stuff. How do you mitigate that?
I mean, there could be, of course, some impurity, because also biogas at the same time it produces some greenhouse gas emission. If you use a lifetime manure, then a bit of methane, and then also you use in the farm, then you can improve the soil, the nutrition of the soil. But at the same time, I mean, the impurity is less if you put like the manure directly in the soil. It's better to have the treatment in the biogas plant than to produce a clean energy. I mean, clean fuel, and at the same time a clean fertilizer. So there is will be always trace of impurity, but are less if you do it without biogas.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Anna, for that. I think, Bronson, you did put something in the chat too, in the private chat, about a message from Benjamin saying it's been a dangerous aspect. So I think it's saying that the biogas thing has been a dangerous aspect, the gas being a cankerworm in farm destruction. How can international organizations like UNIDO help local in eradicating this, especially in Africa, particularly Nigeria? So I don't know if you pick up that thing, but I think it's still very much connected to what you've answered already, in terms of issues with use of biogas and also application of nutrient, or rather the output from the digestate from the anaerobic digesters on farmland. So I know you've talked on it. I don't know if you want to relate that to how your organization is helping address that problem as a question was presented.
Well, I think for this specific one, it is mostly another unit that is dealing with this. So it's have to be addressed to the other division. So I can somehow connect you with that, because we don't address specific about person. We just help the countries or provide this technical assistance so they can, for example, start biogas plant. So we do baseline study, feasibility study to see if the technology is fit in the country, and then we work with different organizations that are especially in the topic that develop then the project. So we just as UNIDO provide technical assistance, so how they can create it. So there are organizations involved in the process until the project is developed. So it's not only UNIDO, it's many others.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. I guess if I may touch on that, you need to do work with member states. So I think also in Anna's presentation, she shared a slide of the organizations, the Council for the Clean Cooking project, the Clean Cooking Council within the UNIDO. So I think that what they do is work with member states. So you can check out the slides, the organizations who are working in those different countries, and you can reach out to them to understand what they're doing and maybe how you can work with them. That would be my contribution to that. Just to move us ahead, so Skye, there have been a number of questions around. This is a fantastic project you're working on with Buffing, and people are asking questions: how can this be taken afar from the UK to other parts of the world? And I don't know if you have any answer to that. Please, you can come in.
Yeah, I think what a really important first step is to approach international funding associations for research. And a really important way of getting people together and creating that community is offering people something to work with you. We're offering money, but it doesn't have to be financial every time. And especially when you're getting these institutions funding you, it really does give you a lot of opportunity to delve into different projects.
Fantastic. I'm pleased that Anna is here from UNIDO, so probably we'll have to follow up with her and see what project we can do. Maybe not with her team directly, because I know that Buffing is focused on producers, but Anna is focused on consumer side of things, which is the beauty of the presentation we'll have today, because we actually covered from farm to fork. I know that Jens was focused on supply chain and how you can establish this circular food system within urban environments. And Bronson was nicely talking about a key aspect of the food system, which is about pollination, about the bees and how you can engage with this. So I really love the variety and the diversity of the presentation. But I see, we've got Anna here, so we can follow up with Anna in terms of international partnerships. How could we look at the team who are working with producers, and how can we work with them to demonstrate some of the projects from Buffing internationally in other regions, especially where we can help the scale up industrial processes. And I think bringing that back to what Jens did say, it's not about scaling it to be large, but scaling it to be efficient and very sustainable. So you can still do things in small scale and build that capacity around the cities, rather than trying to look into more conventional, intense agricultural systems that continue to cause havoc for our health and also the environment. So I think with that we have covered some of the questions. There are a lot of comments, but I think we've picked on some of the key questions. And please do still feel free to drop your question if anything comes to mind. But I do have certain other questions. I kind of want to get some insights from the speakers. So I think this applies to all of us. So in terms of delivering most of the presentations, we've seen some key projects, and I know that this key project comes with a lot of challenges, building the team and getting things going. So do you have insights you can share around projects that have been successful and what really makes that successful, especially with building the team and getting things going? I will invite you to go first, Skye.
Yeah, so I think one of the really key aspects of this is making sure that you're staying really organized. It's very useful to have processes set in place. You need to have a team that you can rely and trust on. And then making sure that you're staying ahead of the grain, using every opportunity that comes up, events, social media, every type of communication is really important. And also not saying no to any opportunity that arises just because it wasn't in your original plan.
Yeah, very good point. Bronson, do you have anything to say to that?
Yeah, I would say probably partnership is quite important internationally, and I think you can pick from actually what we are doing internationally, of course, with most of the SFN network. And one of the major things, I would love people to understand is that, of course, Skye has already said, whereby then if you don't fit in something, I think you might not really work for you. Sometimes actually you might realize you're much closer to what is to be done as opposed to what you might think is not doable for you. Then also, last but not least, I think is feel free and be flexible to engage in different countries. I think that's one of the main challenge I think we've had globally. Most people sticking within their region or within their continent and not wanting to expand to look at other problems globally. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bronson. Anna, do you have any contribution to this?
Yes, I think one of the important things for project is the constantly monitoring. So you have accompanied the beneficiary to the whole process, and then this could then prevent if they have some challenges. You are there to help as well, and for example, look for the solution on time, because also it's important at the beginning to do like we do a baseline study to see if this technology fit in the country. This is the country had the potential, for example, to develop sugar industry, have the amount of feedstock for the production, for example, the biogas. So all of these factors are important for the success of the project, and also constantly, as Sky say, this promotion in social media as well, to have this networking with other partners that we can help each other and provide the right support to the countries.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. So I think just touching a little bit on bioenergy, do you see a bit of conflict between growing food for human consumption and then growing food for bioenergy? And how do you see that being resolved or managed effectively?
The question is for me, sorry.
Yeah, for you, please.
Can you repeat it again?
No, I'm saying, there's this conflict between growing food for human consumption, especially where we're facing a lot of food insecurity and we're having issues around food resilience. Growing food for human consumption, as well as also growing crops for bioenergy. What do you think about the conflict, and how do you think we can manage that,
Yeah.
especially when we are promoting the use of bioethanol and also bioenergy for cooking as cooking gas?
So of course, our main goal is no compromise food security. So that's why we look at the mainly the waste of the like circular economy of the waste, like the molasses that can be used for bioethanol, and also at the same time we provide. I mean we have to we first that's why evaluate the country first have. Plenty of sugar cane to produce, or for example, cassava. And also, once it's important that for the production to use marginal lands, so lands that are not compromised the food security. So we are looking always um, at um, at the food security, how to don't compromise the food production. So this is always our main goal at the beginning. That's why we do this diagnostic study, where to place the crops. And there is the publication that I share in my slide. It's all about food security, the unlocking bioethanol, where there is a chapter that talk how food security, how the use of clean fuels don't compromise food security.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Anna, for touching on that. I think the other point I wanted to ask is, what are your thoughts around areas, especially in the developing countries, where there are a lot of natural gas existing? How, is there any potential for supporting the rollout of this natural gas piped into houses to be a source of clean gas in a way that you can manage that, as well as also manage circularity of the waste, being able to use the food waste back into, because I'm just thinking where there isn't, if we're looking at circularity of the food system, where there isn't enough food waste to be used, and there's a gap in energy source, and but there's also available natural gas, which is less environmental, it delivers less environmental impact compared to what is being used. Is there potential for that to be supported in terms of ensuring that that is properly rolled out in this region to support cooking in those regions?
Yeah, I mean there is also many other options, like we have electric cooking that can be used, also solar cooker as well. We don't support or won't work with the LPG, so we are more focused in, because bioethanol then is to grow the sugar industry for them to create job opportunity and all of this. So we focus more in this bioenergy application, mostly bioethanol, also pellet, but now we are also in e-cooking as well. We are promoting the use of e-cooking, but mainly we are expanding. So, but no LPG. Not.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Anna, for throwing light on that. I felt that's something to question that may also be in people's mind, that I should kind of highlight it and have that response from you. But it's fantastic presentations, fantastic discussion. Thank you so much for your insight. Just one last thing, one last question. I mean, I do appreciate that we do have different perspectives to our contribution within the food system. So I think that also brings a lot of diversity in the discussion. And based on that, I will appreciate if you can share your thoughts on where you see technology innovation going within the food system for the future. So I think with that, I can come to you, Skye. What are the technology innovations you're seeing coming through and delivering a lot of impact within the food system, and how do you see that evolving for the future? Thank you.
I think a really important key aspect of innovation that's happening at the moment is this movement to kind of accepting technology a lot more, even in AI and aspects like this. So if we're able to train it to be useful in modern day technology, it's not something to be scared of, I don't think, as long as we're able to train it and control it ourselves. But I think this is probably the future, is AI and robotics.
Wow, fantastic, Skye. I like the word you said, if we can train them and control them. The challenge is when we can't control them, but I hope we don't get there. I mean, I love technology innovation. I love AI. I love the potential for it, and I'm hoping that it will deliver the value for the food system. Do you want to go next, Bronson?
Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, one thing I would try to reference is initially back then, at some years back, we didn't have aeroplanes, and when they came on board, people used to be scared of flying on them because they're not sure, like, how could you fly on that? But eventually, you embrace it. So what I'm just trying to say is, like, technology is inevitable in the current century, and whether we like it or not, we have to live by it. It's not the future; it's what is now. So we just have to capitalize it and know how to use it. But knowing humans as humans, I know it. Like Skye said, we'll be able to control them. Thank you.
Yeah, very good point. It's really good to kind of give us that, highlight that illustration about aeroplanes and the adoption. But I think the question is more like, what, unless you are concurring with Skye in terms of AI, do you have any other technology innovation you feel that is coming through and will deliver a lot of impact across the food system? That's for you,
That was my
Bronson.
question. Oh,
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
I'm just saying, is it that you concur with Skye that the latest innovation is AI, and that is what you believe will create the most change across the food system? As if not, do you think there's any other technology innovation that is coming up and will have a lot of impact across the food system?
Yes, I would say supporting what she said about AI. And so, yeah, I don't want to dive deeper because AI is more of actually machine learning. It's the same thing. If you go back slightly a few years ago, it's actually about the mathematical models that we used to develop that. So it's just refinement of what has just been previous there. And as I said, it's the current situation in which we are. It's inevitable. And it's going to solve many things, because sometimes I think we have a lot of knowledge out there, but you're not able to retain it because, of course, human, we are skeptical to age and period of time in this world. But with AI being there constantly and permanent, I think that is the next game changer in revolutioning the food system, and um, definitely actually as a broad angle. I hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure that you say exactly the technology innovation you're thinking of, and I'm glad you're seconding Skye. So I'll move on to Anna. Anna, what are your thoughts?
Yes, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, I'm
About
saying
the practice.
I'm saying, we have a number of technology innovations that are coming through at the moment. Which of them do you think will drive most change within the food system in the future?
I think as far I presented, I think that this technology that I mentioned to use as a clean cooking fuel, because it's all, I mean, it's like a package that give income to farmers and prevent deforestation, reduce greenhouse gases emission. So I think the use of biogas, for example, clean cook stuff. So we cut and we help them to have energy access as well. So we tackle two issue energy access and the aspect of clean cooking.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I think renewable energy within the food system is very important. So, as much as we can engage and use some of this renewable energy, it will definitely drive a positive change within the food system. A lot of innovation around water reuse, water cycling is also very important. I did mention in my earlier keynote presentation about genomics, omics, and the importance of that in selecting the right traits for growing, and also making sure that we have diversity in our food production. But yeah, it's been fantastic to listen to your thoughts, to listen to the insights about your projects, and also listen to your responses to the questions. I think all the participants can agree that it's been a very important and very useful webinar, and people have been able to take away a lot from that. I think for the Global Agri-Food Entrepreneur Program, we continuously looking to expand the capacity, and please do engage with us on that and promote that across your platforms. We want to see a lot more people from across the world participating, supporting, and changing the food system for better. But yeah, at this point, I'll say thank you so much for joining us. We are very much on time, 16 hours GMT at the moment, and it's been great to have you all on board. And I do hope you have a great evening and a great week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, that brings us to the end of the webinar today. I hope you have enjoyed that, and I do hope we stay engaged. We love to continue to work with you and partner with you in ensuring that more people have access to good food. With that, I wish you have a great time, and let's stay in touch. Thank you very much.